Ants and termites. The casual task of each ant appears as transparent, while for the termite, it permanently works in secret. Ants and termites. Some of the tenants are constantly complaining about the colonies of ants and termites in the place. But not Q. Why should he? For him, the ants are there to clean off his kitchen sink every time he forgets to wash the dishes, tirelessly carrying off those tiny bits and morsels on his plate, spoon, and fork. Beats having a cat. Q reasons. As for the termites, well, the termites seem to be the only ones remaining, notwithstanding some strong concrete nails and hardwood to prop up the old apartment. But the tenants are a stubborn lot. They have managed to push and peg for the extermination of these colonies. So now everything in Q's apartment appears to be new. Even the ordinarily unremarkable view from his open window. So this morning, on the nth year of Q's unemployment, he notices an ad tacked at eye level on the Meralco wooden post close to the open window of his rented place. It reads, "Factory presently recruiting. Workers needed immediately. No formal education required. No skill required. No age limit." After giving a moment of sobriety to his own situation, being always deep in thought as he is in debt, he decides to forego his plan to let the whole day of Monday slowly, excruciatingly slip away from his hands by sleeping it away all day long anew in his bed. Of course, this new idea is strengthened by the fact that his landlord is on his fifth straight day, including Saturday and Sunday, of urging Q to join him in an easy money scheme of a company based somewhere in Metro Manila. All Q has to do is to somehow get hold of 10,000 pesos, invest it in the business, and watch it grow. And so on and so forth, as the company happily explains inside its glossy and colorful brochure. Q, of course, being ever so mindful of his landlord's mild fits of fantasy of wealth and power, and when he is alone in his room, laughs at the very idea. For why invest 10K to a company now, when he can use the money to presently update his monthly rent, and allow his landlord to use the money to invest in the same company? Or perhaps it's his landlord's idea of sharing such a wonderful get-rich-quickly secret formula. Lord, he is such a good man. Pray that he is taken to paradise by our divine providence any time soon. Starting now. Or is the old man just using Q because he knows Q is a young man more gullible than he was at the same age? So, after putting down on paper the address and contact information of the ad, and then saving them again in his cheap cell phone for good measure, Q sets off to find a badly needed piece of work. After all, he is still a college undergraduate, has not really quite discovered yet what his main skill is, and is fresh from drinking away his 23rd birthday merely a month before using the money which he had borrowed from people seemingly more gullible than him. In short, Q more than fulfills the minimum requirements to the position applied for. After spending more than half an hour riding a less than reliable mass transport system, 3 times the train slowed down to a full halt on the railway between stops, the last one taking more than 5 stressful minutes or so, Q climbs down the station closest to his destination. At the landing, he sees a cigarette vendor and, being unfamiliar with the address on the ad, immediately asks her for some directions. Behold, Q is surprised by the old woman, for as he approaches her on the curb of the sidewalk, she looks at the young man smiling, as though expecting Q already, then places her right index finger on her lips to signal the young job seeker from saying anything any longer. "We've been expecting you," the cigarette vendor tells Q with urgency. He, of course, stares at her, trying to figure out where they've met before or if she is of any relation to him. But for so young a man, Q would not have that slip of the mind which is evident to people when they reach a certain age of senility. How does the old woman know me? Q asks himself further, but before he can speak out another word, the cigarette vendor hands him a token and points to Q a tricycle parked across the avenue at the U-turn slot, which is now being used as a terminal. "Hurry now, you're late. Now go, and take your ride to the factory." "'Tis-so," she shouts to the driver of the next available tricycle to quickly maneuver the vehicle close to Q. Needless to say, Q is quite taken aback of what is presently happening. Who are these people? And how could they know I'm going to the factory? As the tricycle parks close to Q with its engine running, the driver reprimands him. You are late, get in and I'll take you to the factory before you really get into trouble. Q is having second thoughts of getting inside the tricycle cab, but then he catches a glimpse of the old woman on the curb of the sidewalk waving an or else fist at him. So, on the nth year of his unemployment, Q takes his first ride to the factory. Q opens the door, walks in, then closes the door behind him. Then the door disappears. He does not notice this. In fact, even if he did, he doesn't care anymore whether the door has disappeared or not. After all, he is already inside. Q is now inside the factory. Inside the factory, Q sees the long queue of applicants. He shakes his head and goes to the end of the line. But an old man, who looks very much like Q's landlord, who is carrying a sort of checklist and who appears to be the one responsible in herding the applicants, quickly notices him. You there, at the end of the line. You're Q, right? Yes, sir. You were late, so you're not supposed to be there. Come over here. I have your assignment right here. Consigned into confusion anew, Q approaches the old man who, in turn, quickly points to him another door inside the factory. You were late. The old man says to him. Now go to the kitchen. The dirty dishes of the community pantries are fast piling up over there. Hurry. But. No buts. You have no secret to hide from us, Q. We know you. We know what you can do. You're an ant. A casual ant. So, please, no buts. We know everything. Sir, I do not mean to be offensive, but I just want to ask. Q is trying to be nice about his puzzling situation and anxiously points to the long queue. What about that long line of applicants, where I was standing? Before you called me, sir. What work are they applying for? Should I not join them, sir? Them? No. They do not have the merit and fitness to be a casual ant. They're all merely qualified to be permanent termites. No. According to the results of the examination, you are qualified to be a casual ant, and not a permanent termite. Permanent termites. His remaining wits already teetering on edge, Q finally blurts out to the old man. Sir, may I know please what is the name of this ing factory? The old man spatters out as high and as far so that everybody inside the large mill can hear. Government. Afterwards, a swarm